Okay, thanks for joining me. Today, I am going to walk you through the prep for a coffee enema. The reason why I'm making this video is because it took me several years of having the knowledge and the information as to why doing a coffee enema is so beneficial, especially if you're in the process of doing any type of a detox protocol. I am going to show you the kit that I recommend. It's called Purelife. It can be ordered right off of Amazon. I purchased the full kit, and what it comes with is the no mold coffee. This is the most important thing. You could really use any enema kit, but the most important thing is getting coffee that is mold free and just like very clean coffee. So I use this one. It's specifically formulated for liver detox and enemas, mold and mycotoxin free. So you're going to need this. Inside of the kit, it comes with all kinds of stuff, which I actually never used some of this. I'm going to show you exactly what I use. Most importantly is going to be the stainless steel bucket. So you have the bucket, you have the what do you call this? Like the cord or the piping that it will travel through on. And then you have this, which is your brakes, essentially. So you're going to use this when you go to put in the liquid. You want to put this clasp onto the piping. And I like to put it kind of towards the end, more for when you're actually in position performing this on yourself. You want to have easy access to this. So kind of think about that. This is kind of like going to be close to where it's actually inserted. And when I'm actually performing this, I like to have my hand close by. I keep it on it so that it doesn't come flying out for any reason. Again, I know this is kind of disturbing stuff, but I'm going to tell it how it is here. So you have your bucket, you have your cord, you're gonna attach this to the bottom stem, and that's it, stainless steel. This here is going to be the strainer. So when you go to brew your coffee, you're gonna strain it, but then you're gonna strain it again on this. It's like a super fine strainer, so it gets all of the coffee grinds out. So that's that. I'm gonna put this aside. So that's the kit. The other important part of the kit is two things. The end. This is the insertion part. So you'll put this at the end of your cord. It's very, it's very pliable. It's gentle. It's not like hard plastic. And the other thing that you will need is coconut oil. You can use other types of lubricants. I just really like coconut oil. It's all natural. You don't have to worry about it. It provides plenty of glide and it works really great. So that is essentially what you need to get started. Again, the coconut oil does not come in the kit. That's something you can just buy anywhere. The other thing is the hook. This is in the kit. So what you'll do is once everything is prepared, which I'm going to walk you through right now, when you go to put the stainless steel bucket, you want to make sure it's elevated. So for me, with my particular situation or setup in the bathroom, is I use my shower door hook, and that's at an elevation just perfect enough to give it the gravity so that it can travel down while you're laying down on the floor. Preferably on your right side where your liver is. So when you perform the enema, you want to get into position and you want to be laying on your right side. And I'll go through that once we have everything prepared. So this is what you'll need: your bucket, your coffee, you'll need your strainer. The other thing that you will need that you can purchase separately is distilled water. You can just buy it anywhere, distilled water. Or if you are a pro and you filter your water and you already have one, you can use a at-home distiller and then you have distilled water all the time. The other tool that is really, really helpful is a French press. I personally don't like to brew this coffee through, I have a Keurig, so I don't want to brew it through that. I want to brew it, I'm going to do it in my French press. You don't have to. If you have a regular coffee machine, you can totally just do that. But I'm going to show you today how I do it using my French press. And then the only other thing will be a tablespoon to measure your coffee and a measurer for your liquids. All right, let's get started. Okay, so here I am standing in front of my stove. I have a saucepan that I'm going to boil my water in. I have my distilled water. So this stainless steel container holds 8 cups of water. So what you want to do is basically half of that water I'm going to use to brew for the coffee. So I'm doing 4 cups of water I'm going to boil here. That's 2. And here's 2 more cups. So that's 4 cups of water I'm going to boil on my stovetop. I'm gonna let that boil. I'm gonna set this aside. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna take my French press and my tablespoon, and I am going to measure out. This really depends on you. If you are already sensitive to coffee, definitely just start with 1 tablespoon. I do 2 now. I've worked my way up. So I'm gonna do 2 in here. 1 and 2. And that's it. Seal the bag back up. There's like resealable tape for the next time. Put that aside. So while I wait for my water to boil, I have this at the bottom of my French press. I have this ready to go. In the meantime, you can make sure that your stainless steel kit is ready. So it's cleaned out, it's sterilized, used boiling water, cleaned everything out. Even if it's brand new from the company, definitely make sure that you sterilize it. Get your attachments, same thing, rinse out your tubing with hot water. And then attach everything, get it ready. Attach your brake, your clasp. And again, I have mine, I don't know, 8 or so inches from the bottom of my tubing. Make sure that you get your clasp on, and make sure that the brakes are on. Kind of tricky at first, but you want to just push it to release it when you're ready and in position for your enema. Until then, keep the brakes on, because when you go to pour in all of your liquids when they're ready, you want to make sure that it doesn't come flying out the tubing all over your kitchen floor. So what I like to do is just kind of loop my tubing through this handle until I'm ready. And I don't insert my tip until I'm ready to go do it, okay? Because we want to keep that sterilized as well. So keep everything ready to go. Here's my strainer. I'm going to get that ready to go on the top. And I'm waiting for my water to boil. I've got everything set up and ready to go. And we'll come back. Okay, so while I'm waiting for my water to boil, I am going to get my coconut oil ready. So I'm using a spoon and the jar. I just use this organic one. I think this one's from Whole Foods. And I scoop out just a little bit of coconut oil and I put it into something else. So I've been using this. And that is separate. It's its own thing. This whole thing can be thrown out afterwards. But that is going to be for the lube for the end, and that's more than I need. It's just in there. And then I just take this tip and I kind of just stick it in this little bowl until I'm ready for it. So I'm going to set this aside. The water is now boiling. So I am going to strain my boiling water into my French press. Here we go. This is 2 cups, so that's going in. It should fit perfectly. Yeah, It just fits. You could do a little less than 2 so that you have room for your press, but I think I'm gonna make this work. I'm going to put the top on of my French press, and I'm going to let it sit for probably 10 to 15 minutes. Let's just say 15 minutes to make sure it's nice and strong. So I'm gonna let this sit for 15 minutes. Everything else is prepped and pretty much ready to go. And then I'll show you the next steps. Okay, so while I wait for my coffee to do its thing, I want to go over like some more of the details of the actual process. So I'll walk you through the rest of these steps in just a moment. In the meantime, what you'll do is you'll bring this to the bathroom. You want to lay down some towels or something that you don't mind if they get a little messy, if for some reason the stuff spills. You want to be close by to your toilet. So my setup is I have the shower, then I have the toilet right next to it. So I hang my enema kit on my shower door. You might use, if you don't have a shower door, you can definitely just use the countertop. Just be careful that it doesn't like fall off, because this liquid will still be warm when you go to insert it. You want to make sure that it's it could be a little above room temperature, but you don't want it to be hot. You don't want to burn your insides, but your bodily internal environment is very warm. So you want to make sure that's warm. You'll definitely feel that sensation when you do insert. And sometimes you're wondering, did I insert it properly? Am I doing it right? Those are all normal questions to have when you start doing these for the first couple of times, because it is a little tricky at first to get it right and feel like you're doing it right. What I like to do is actually just kneel down to insert. Once it's inserted, I slowly will lay down onto my side. Again, you want to be on your right side. That's the side where your liver is. Laying down on your right side, you might be like up on one elbow, like sideways. And at that point, once you're ready, you'll insert. Once it's inserted, you'll slowly let go of your lock. So you'll let go of the lock, and when you do that, you'll slowly feel the ingredients going in, and you'll feel this warm sensation, and you'll feel it kind of running through your body. It's a really interesting feeling. It's nothing to be afraid of. It actually feels kind of cool in a way. Once you can get past the whole idea of doing this, it's actually a very cleansing protocol, and just so well worth the time invested in doing it, because when you get it right and you've done them a couple of times, you will feel so light, so free, so relieved. And if you are doing a specific protocol, either a parasite protocol cleanse, or if you're doing my total wellness restoration program and you're in the detox GI reset, where we're doing these eliminations of whatever, antimicrobial or parasites or candida or, whatever it may be, we need to release all of the stuff that we're disrupting and killing off inside of the body, and we need to escort it out. The body will naturally do that for sure, especially with the supplements that you're taking that are recommended. But, and of course, you definitely want a binder in place. When the binder will bind all of this stuff and help escort it out. But the enema sort of is just another additional tool to help eliminate and speed up that process and removal of the waste that is hanging out that could be killed off, that needs to be removed from the body. So something else to think about is the liver. It's just not talked about enough. The liver is responsible for so many jobs, metabolic functions and things in our body. The way I like to describe it is that it is basically like the washing machine of the body. So we want to clean the washing machine, and we can do that through supplementation, but one of the most effective ways is by doing these coffee enemas, because it's direct route right to the liver, where it basically will help clean it out and flush it out. And with that, so you'll basically, once you'll insert, you're gonna let as much of the liquid from this in as you possibly can. You can, if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, you might have some cramping, what you can do is put the stop stop the flow of the ingredients coming in. Wait as long as you think you possibly can. And when you get to the point where you can't hold it anymore, you want to slowly release from your body and then get up and get to the toilet as quickly as you can. You'll release whatever comes out. A lot of what comes out initially is going to be the coffee liquid, mixed with all kinds of stuff. You never know. A lot of it is just poop with the coffee mixture. So you'll do that. What you can do is let that first flush happen. Come back to it. If you can, reinsert and try to get the rest of the bucket in. The first couple of times, it might take you 1 or 2 or 3 times in one session to get the full bucket in, where you have to go and reinsert. It can be a little messy. It can be a little awkward. It can be, feel like time consuming. But I promise you, as you do more of these, it does get easier and it does get quicker, and you can kind of get the process down to like, a 40-minute thing, where most of it is just the prep work of this, and then you want to go lay down in the bathroom for 20 minutes. It's not as big of a deal as it might seem right now. And again, I know we all lead very busy lives, and this is something you probably want to do when no one's home, and that's not always easy either. But if you can set aside the time, the first time is going to be the hardest and the most take the most amount of time to complete, because you're new at it. And then as you get going, it's going to get a lot easier. So with all of that being said, you'll lay down, you'll do the first session, release when you can't hold anymore, come back, try to get the rest of the solution in as best as you can. Hold it for as long as you can. So, up to, sometimes you can only hold it for 2 minutes in the beginning. And then you'll work your way up to being able to hold it for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, where you're holding this caffeine mixture inside of your body up through all the intestines and into the liver. And as you get more advanced with it, what you can do is slowly shift your body. You can lay all the way back, maybe put a pillow in there with you so you can lay all the way back, and just try to focus on breathing and allow your body to relax as much as you can. Again, I know it's awkward, while you're doing this, and just focus on breath work and allowing that mixture to do what it needs to do to disrupt all the bad guys. We're attacking the bad guys right now. So I want you to keep that in mind while you're doing this. And then once you can't hold it anymore, you get up and you release the rest of it. You clean up your materials and you get on with your day. So as far as cleanup goes, I do like to use I'll use very hot, boiling water. I clean out all my tubing. I clean out the bucket. I clean out everything. I will even use a little Dawn dish soap and then just wash everything really, really good, and then let it air dry or hang to dry somewhere. You don't want your tubing to get moldy and gross. So make sure that you maybe you can just hang it somewhere for a little bit and make sure that it's mostly all dry before you box it back up. That's that. So then you can come back to this anytime you need to. And I'm going to give this just a few more minutes, and then I'll show you the final process. Okay, my coffee is ready to press and strain. So that's what I'm going to do. I have my coffee press set up, and I'm going to slowly push everything down and press it. And then this in itself has its own strainer, but then I'm going to strain it again with this fine strainer that came with the kit. Make sure, again, that your brakes are clasped. You do not want this stuff pouring out all over your floor. And here I go. I'm just pouring it into the bucket. As you can see, nothing is coming out through the tubing yet because it's clasped. Get all of this in there. And so my stainless steel bucket is now about halfway full with the coffee. You can see the strainer still has coffee grinds residue. You want to make sure that that's not going inside of your solution. This is still boiling hot. So what I like to do then is I take my distilled water, either from your distiller or bottled distilled is fine. This is kind of cool because it was actually in my garage. So it actually will just help me cool down the mixture faster. So now I'm just gonna fill my bucket to the, not to the very top because you gotta carry it to where you wanna go, but almost to the top. I'll leave about an inch with just plain water. So now you can mix this, you can use a whisk, just make sure it's sterilized, it's clean. You can mix this up a little bit more to get the room temp water mixed with the boiling water. And you want to just let it sit now because again, you don't want to put boiling hot water into your body. So now you got to wait and make sure that it's the right temperature for you. And the way to test that, if you've ever had babies, you've done this with bottles, but you want to just maybe test a little bit on your wrist. So you can take your tubing to the sink, let a little bit come out onto your wrist, and if it's boiling hot and it burns, then it's not ready yet. Or you can use a thermometer. Truthfully, I have no idea what the actual temperature, the safe temperature would be. My guess would be around 98 degrees though, because that's our internal body temperature. So maybe check for that. I kind of can just tell by feeling the bucket. But I'm gonna walk away from this. I'll come back to this when the temperature is right, and then I'll perform my enema. But hopefully that gets you to a place where you're feeling a little bit more confident to get your setup and go through the process, because again, it can be very intimidating and a little scary. And I went through all of that, and like I said, it took me like 2 years to build up the courage after I was told, oh, you should really try one. You should get those into your protocol. It took me that long to feel like I was ready to do it. So again, no pressure. This video is here to help you and to ease the worry and maybe the anxiousness around getting it prepped and making sure you're doing it right and all of that. So it's really not that hard. Like I said, just you gotta make sure you have the kit and the right coffee and a little bit of time to yourself to do this. But if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out. Good luck. One other thing I forgot to mention is this is something that you can do and then get on with your day. I know a lot of people think, oh, I need to reserve like a whole day because I'm going to be like running to the bathroom all day. That is not the case. Once the solution is in and it comes out, that's it. Like you're not running to the bathroom anymore. What will happen is though, like you'll probably go pee later in the day and something might come out that you weren't planning to come out. It just comes out, and guess what that is? That's a parasite. That's a liver fluke. It could be whatever type of bad guy is exiting the body. You'll typically see it in the toilet a couple of hours later. So a lot of times when you're passing and eliminating parasites and things like that, they are mixed with poop, so you don't always actually see them. But with the coffee enemas, it's kind of very satisfying to see that something is actually leaving the body a couple hours after you do the enema, because it's had time to like die, and now it's like it's on its way out. It doesn't always come out right away, or maybe they do and you just don't see them. So just be prepared for that, and also know that like you can get on with your day. You can do this in the morning and go about the rest of your day and not feel like you have to reserve the whole day. So I wanted to add that one little piece of information that I think is pretty crucial. All right, good luck everyone.